Ah, look at it. Some would call this the Holy Trinity, but
Some might.
today we're going to call this the Front Row Wrestling Podcast. I am Mr. KS. That is Robert Miller. That is Chris. Welcome back, fellas. Rob shooting a double barrel shotguns up there. I see you.
The trademark. How's it going?
What's going on, fellas?
Nah, man.
Not much.
Not
Chris,
much.
Chris, you look very studious today. I must say this.
Thank you very much. It's a curse. I try to live with it, but not everybody can carry that weight on their shoulders quite like I do.
You look like you're ready to learn something today.
I'm ready to teach class. What are you talking about?
Is that what we're calling it?
Professor Chris.
That's right.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna see if we can learn Chris a little something today. Rob, you can come along for the lesson, or you can,
Hey, man. I'm a sponge for knowledge.
Okay. So I sent y'all some topics. Which one do y'all want to jump into first? We can take the easy route and go.
I mean, you know what? I say you lay them up like you want to. We'll knock them down
one by one.
Okay. So can we just get this whole Linda Hogan mess out the way first?
Jeez, Jesus Christ! I mean, he. Oh man, like how you come across something and you're like this don't look good, but then you're like, but it's probably something that's gonna turn around and not be a total disaster. And then the more I kept watching, I was like, oh no, God, dude, this chick, dude, they got like divorced like 9 years ago, dude.
It's been longer than that.
Okay, dude, they've been decades going.
She started dating one of her son's best friends.
Right.
He was 19 and she was like, what, 60?
50?
Yeah, but I mean, what's her problem? I mean, do you like she?
I think she just realized it was over.
Like right now?
That's what it looks like. It looks like she didn't know for a while, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know. That's just crazy. I mean, like who does that? I mean,
she was acting like a little. She was acting like a middle school. It looked like she looked like a middle school girl. Like boo his beard. Like what are we doing? You're somebody's grandmother. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, man, you think it's like some kind of manipulation? Women are evil creatures. Sometimes you think it might be in manipulation. Like she knows if she follows
who's buying this bullshit, bro?
I'm just saying if she's following this, hating Hogan thing, if she knows like that, basically in wrestling, Hogan's kind of getting smeared a little bit. Maybe she's just trying to jump on the bandwagon and capitalize. Now, let me tell you what a real bastard he is. We
already know what a real bastard he is.
Well, I mean, she need a payday, I think.
That's what I'm saying. Like, where has she been in the last 10 years?
Probably in the last 2 weeks, she's been in Tijuana, dude, getting Botox surgery.
You see what she was, but see what she said though? She said, I was trying to get my Botox and they couldn't do it right and they bruised my face.
Yeah, that's the day you're gonna choose to go live like a mess.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie. I know we all were thinking it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. When I first saw it, I was like, oh.
Are you talking about like Hogan's knows best era, or like
when I first saw this video? When I first saw the one I sent you, when I first
looked like she got beat up or something.
I didn't think that. I'm not going to look. You can say you weren't thinking it. Probably ran across your mind. Like this broad has just been strung out on crack for the last 2 weeks.
Right. Well, yeah, something along those lines.
She looked like we've all seen them. We know what a crackhead looks like. I'm just gonna say she was fitting the description.
And all Hogan has to do is go, man.
Well, again, we knew.
Glad I got away.
Like you brought up Hogan knows best. We seen that, so we knew that all of them were whack.
Yeah,
they're all whacked.
Do you think Hogan? Do you think Hogan's seen this video of her crying yet?
Oh, I'm sure he's seen it.
Let me tell you something, brother.
The question is if he didn't see it on his timeline, who sent it to him? That's the question. We know
everybody. Hey, every fan out there probably tagged him in that video.
She probably tagged him in it.
You think that? You think there'll be a response, or you think?
Dear God, no. We don't need to see him.
Oh! We need Hulk Hogan crying now.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Me too, your southern brother.
That man can be walking. We don't need to see any Hogan. We don't need to see them two or the children. Just let them all go.
We'll see the worst of Hogan. He'll be crybabying. He'll have flashbacks of all the bad things he said and done, and accidentally slip on something again, probably. And
then lie about it.
And then lie. That wasn't me, brother. That was the tears talking.
That was the tears.
He blame it on Jimmy. He blame it on Jimmy Hart. That's what he said. That's
right.
That's the reason he got booed in LA. No, dear God, that man's fighting for his life right now.
Yeah.
You know what, Knobs? He's in the. I think.
Yeah. That's some bad stuff.
Yeah.
He's about to get his foot cut off or something. I think he's like.
I guess he's trying not to. He's trying not to. But
yeah.
No. Is it sad seeing like all these old people? Well, not old people, but like all the guys that like we came up watching like in the 80s and some of the 70s.
Weird. It's weird. It's
Did you donate to his GoFundMe?
No, I did not.
But he entertained you all those years.
Hey, that was his job, bro.
He was nasty. He put people's faces in his armpit for crying out loud. For you, Ray.
I got to meet him. I got to meet Brian Knobs once. There was a show in Washington. Me and my wife, we had just been together like a month or two, and I took her to. It was an independent. Jake the Snake Roberts was supposed to be there, but that's when he pulled one of his "I need crack or I'm not coming" stints. and so I got to like walk up to the table and we bought like a picture. We bought an autograph, and he was cool. He wrote to me and my wife. He said we were a cool couple and shit. And then you wrote on our paper on our photo. He wrote to Rob and Julie, the nasty couple. Stay nasty. Yeah.
If only he knew who he was writing that to.
Yeah, let me just say that picture got torn in half when me and Julie got into like a war like years later. Here's what I think of that.
Damn. She waited all that time to let you know how she really felt about that.
No, just we were having a fight.
And what's near and dear to Rob but his wrestling stuff?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I have a lock on my door.
Better hide them belts.
Yeah, I know, dude.
Have you got it? Please hide the belts. Hide the didn't you get some figures too? Or some
I got
hide them all.
Draw back the curtain here. It's a mess because I'm still trying to organize it.
There's really not control cameras behind you, Rob? I'm shocked.
What? I thought you were in a news studio. I am blown away right now.
He literally just pulled back the curtain, bro.
I just broke kayfabe, man.
You did, man. It's because of people like you we can't have good wrestling no more.
See, this is why I don't put stock into those wrestling journalists. Just like Meltzer sitting on the couch. He's not in the couch.
Seriously, it's all about who you know.
It's all piss bottles. He's sitting around a bunch of piss bottles. There's piss bottles all over the place.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying, man. Seeing guys like Knobs and all that stuff. And I mean, we're going to get old, and with age comes bad health problems, I guess. Especially if you've been on the road doing God knows what with God knows who as a wrestler
for years, for your whole career.
And which they came up during that time when they didn't have stuff, where they weren't taken care of. Basically, is the era they came
Can
from.
you picture a guy like Moxley in 20, 30 years, man?
At least he'll have health care. I mean, I guess.
But Willie though. But Willie.
Man, he would take advantage of that health care.
We've seen a lot of wrestlers.
If he makes it that far to get health care.
There's a lot of wrestlers that made a lot of money, and at the end, you think his wife would be sitting him down like, "Hey, we got a kid, we got to raise. I can't have you walking around with a bat with nails in it hanging out your back."
You see, Swerve asked him the other day, "How's your back, dude?"
I tried to watch AEW last week. This past week, and for the last month and a half, it gets to a certain point, and I just like, you know what? I can't do this no more.
I didn't watch. I didn't watch it. I saw the YouTube clip of it.
Yeah, it's
of
like
the
when you watch one
little
of you see an
confrontation
old,
they had.
it's like
It,
when
it
you see
was
an old movie, dude, like you're like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. It was cool. It entertained me when I watched it. I'm gonna watch it again. And then you get like you get like into the first few parts of it, and it's like, oh man.
I watched that.
Yeah, I watched that. I
yeah,
can't
Like
watch
I
that again.
like I told y'all once before. Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park. That's it right there in a nutshell. Cool to a kid when they're 6 or 7 years old, and as an adult trying to watch it, you're like, I watched
Why?
that.
Yeah.
I
I don't
seen
know,
that.
man. It's I don't know. I'm trying to like I don't want to be the guy that has to shit on it, and I'm not. This is not me shitting on AEW. I'm telling you, I watched it, but again, it got to a certain point, and I'm like,
So, what was the point that got you?
this week or
Well, this week, yeah, you said this week you get to a point you just like, nah. What was it?
once MVP, in that whole MVP and what's the tall dude Enzo and Cass, but it's not Cass, Big Bill. That's his name.
Oh yeah, that
After
was
that, I mean, it started out good, and then the little dude, I can't remember his name, that came out with Big Bill. He was they made him look like a bitch, like like, and then
that
like
word was
MVP
tossed out
there,
quite a few times actually in that segment.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
that's the other thing, and I shout out to KJ Pets. Ever since he told me this, it's stuck in, and I've translated this to like actual wrestling promos. He said, when you curse too much, it takes the sting out of the fucking curse word. And they just cursed and cursed and cursed, and then it was like, to me, if I'm doing all this cursing, we standing this close, somebody should throw a punch. You would think. I know, Chris, you don't like to pull apart, but
it was
if
like
you
too
gonna sit there and
overthought
cuss,
out or something.
it was just they were just going back and forth. MVP was getting them. Big Bill tried it. He had a comeback, but after MVP said what he said, you can't say shit else after that. Like once I tell you you ain't shit and you ain't won a match, so you can't come out here and try to challenge me and you ain't won a match. Like, dog, what are we doing? You can't say shit else to that. But he still kept trying to call him. They still kept going back and forth. I'm like, just end it. Go to
It's
commercial. Cut it.
unorganized. I didn't watch it, but it sounds unorganized.
And then some people say Tony Schiavone was a voice of their childhood. He was not the voice of my childhood. Sad as it may be, the voice of my childhood was Vince and Jesse. And Vince and Gorilla.
The people that say that Tony Schiavone was the voice of their childhood are the ones that grew up on WCW or NWA on Saturday night, TBS 505 Central, 605 Eastern.
But he was not the voice
those
of
are
the
the people.
whole country.
Him. It was him and Crockett. Which Crockett? Not Jim Crockett. Was it David Crockett?
David Crockett, yeah.
Him and David Crockett, and sometimes you had JR out there.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Tony Schiavone, but I lived in the Mid-Atlantic area. I lived in DC. I grew up in DC, so we got everything, but we mostly got WWF. And all I heard was Vince and Vince, Gorilla, Jesse, and Bobby.
That's why I told you. That's why I've told you all this time we've had this discussion. I've always told you that you lean more WWE because that's what you knew more growing up. Even though you watched everything, you knew more WWE than anything else.
I feel like I'm well educated and I've seen enough growing up of NWA.
Yeah,
as much as I've seen of WWF because I saw everything. I saw AWA, I saw WWE, I saw NWA, I saw ECW when it came out. I saw I didn't watch it a lot. I seen it and I was like, yeah, I ain't watching this shit.
I wonder with Rob here. Rob, you're from the basically Pacific Northwest, right?
Yeah, California originally, but yeah, I've grown up my whole adult life in the Pacific Northwest.
So, did you ever see the wrestling from up there that they had? There was Roddy Piper at some point there with them, and
no, I mean, like I said, I grew up in California. I know they had I want to say big time wrestling or something out of Portland, like with
it was
Piper,
Portland, yes, Portland,
Billy Jack Haynes, and
Jack Haynes,
and those guys. No, actually, no. We didn't get it, and where I lived, we didn't get a lot of wrestling in our vicinity. I said we didn't even get pay-per-view until 1991.
The only reason I knew about it was wrestling magazines growing up. I never saw any of it, but that's the only reason. I had read about it quite a few times and seen their little, the wrestling. I forget which magazine it was. If it was PW Insider or if it was the other one. They gave you Pro Wrestling Illustrated. They gave you the standings of every organization out there, the top 10 of every company.
Yeah.
And then the top 10 national singles and the top 10 national tag teams. And I remember seeing that like the Pacific Northwest in Portland.
Yeah, I think the furthest thing west I saw was WCCW, World Class.
World Class.
Yeah, that was the furthest west.
That or AWA out of
yeah, I didn't see anything past that line between AWA and World Class. And when I say AWA and World Class, like we saw AWA because it was on ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we saw World Class because we had this channel. It was like a was it a cable channel? It was on cable. I don't know if it was access or not. But
World Class for me was on ESPN also where I'm at.
After we saw some of it on ESPN, but there was another channel that like on Saturday mornings. Here it was channel 50. I don't know what channel that.
Well, like a public broadcast channel.
No, it was channel 50 W something WDCW something like I don't know. It wasn't a public access channel though. But like on a Saturday morning we got cartoons and then went into a wrestling block. So we saw WWF like Superstars or Wrestling Channel or something like that. And then we saw there was a show that had clips of just different wrestling from everywhere. So they would show matches from WCCW.
Was it with Gordon Soley?
He was on some of the clips. He wasn't.
Yeah, because Gordon Soley he hosted every Saturday morning or Sunday morning, like real early. They hosted. It was called Pro. It was from Pro Wrestling Illustrated magazine. It was Pro Wrestling This Week.
Yeah,
where they showed a lot.
I think that might be what it is. That might be what it was. It showed stuff from all over though.
All over the place.
Only thing they didn't show any WWE stuff, and they didn't show.
No, it was mostly NWA and
it was mostly territory stuff. Yeah,
territories. Yeah.
And then on Saturday nights on TBS, we got WCW, NWA, or whatever. So we saw that.
That was the first time I ever saw Ric Flair on that. I was like, because I had read about him in the magazine, but first time I actually seen him.
The first podcast I ever saw was on a public access. It was called Inside the Square Circle. It was 4 dudes. They were sitting at like a table, a long table. They had microphones, and they would spend the whole hour talking about wrestling.
That's basically this right here, but we're doing it from a very big table here.
They were all in it. Had a black curtain and had a table. They said there was a black guy, 2 white guys.
Love their wrestling.
It was a black guy, 2 white guys, and I think some older dude, like because everybody was like in their 20s or so, and then there was an old dude, like he was in their like 40 or 50s, and it was called Inside the Square Circle. It came on, had the little cheesy ass 1990 graphics. But
I don't remember ever seeing that show. Honestly, I don't. On Saturdays we had cartoons up until about noon, and then there was Memphis Wrestling. Or CWA or USWA, whatever you want to call it at the time when it was out.
Yeah.
And then I was outside the rest of the day until it was 5:05, and then I was back inside watching wrestling on TBS.
Now, let me ask you this. Did y'all get a show? Because the Inside the Square Circle show, the one I said looked like a podcast like we doing now, that was on cable access. But there was a show that came, it was NWA. But it showed like Mid-Atlantic stuff, and it showed UWF stuff, and it was showing like NWA territory stuff, not just.
Well, NWA, they were all part of this one big group.
Yeah,
all working together.
So this is before it turned into WCW. It was NWA.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The NWA, UWF was called Mid-Atlantic at the time. Florida Championship Wrestling, World Class Championship Wrestling, and one other one. It wasn't Memphis. It was something else. And they were all tied together as territories where Ric Flair would go to and defend his title at times.
Yeah, because it would show Ric Flair in somewhere in St. Louis.
Ric Flair did come to Memphis at one point on television, fought Jerry Lawler on television to like a 10-minute time limit. And then they ended up going 5 extra minutes because he almost pinned Flair before the 10 minutes was up, and then made Flair mad. He wanted 5 more minutes, I guess, to show that he was the dominant guy.
Yeah, dude.
Didn't quite work out that way for him, but still, he was in Memphis, so Lawler naturally was gonna be over.
I'm not. I wasn't a big fan of Lawler until he became an announcer.
Growing up around here, if you wasn't big into Lawler, then you wasn't into wrestling much here. You had it because he was the main guy put out there. Him, Bill Dundee, Dutch Mantel. I mean, Tommy Rich, Eddie Gilbert. These are the guys that Memphis put out a lot because they were mainstays there. Then you had some people that would come through and go like, and then as far as tag teams, Rock and Roll Express and Fabulous Ones, Moondogs and Sheep Herders. I mean, all these guys were put forward the most until the younger generation came in, which is like Jeff Jarrett and Pat Tanaka, Paul Diamond, Billy Travis, Tracy Smothers. People you probably know some of them.
Because the way I remember the Moondogs is when they was in WWF and they look old as fuck. They used to have.
They looked old. They looked old when they came here. It was the same ones. Larry Latham and
did one of them lose a leg or something?
Who was the one that was the Demolition?
Edie. Billy.
No. The Moondog. He was the original one with Edie.
Yeah, it was Edie and him.
Oh yeah. Probably it was
Randy Colley.
Rex.
Randy Colley and Larry Latham were your original Moondogs, basically. We had them here too. That they'd fight the Fabulous Ones, tooth and nail all across the Mid-South Coliseum, the Nashville Fairgrounds, Municipal Auditorium in Nashville, wherever. Chairs, 2x4s, blood everywhere.
That's when wrestling was the shit, dude. That's when it was its glory days.
I don't know. You didn't have to be in shape. You just looked like you.
You look like you could go or
drink a lot of beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had some. Man, I can't tell you how many wrestlers I've seen look like they just came from the bar, having just drinking mugs of beer and.
Especially the jobbers, dude. Like on WWE Saturday mornings, dude. The jobbers they would get.
Like how these dudes wrestle? They look like my friends.
They really look like people that they just pulled from the audience, dude. And said,
but you know what's funny about some of those WWE jobbers, though? Funny enough, were actually champions in other areas.
Yeah,
Barry. What's it? Barry Horowitz? Is that his name? Well,
Iron Mike Sharp.
He pat himself in the back. Mike Sharp was.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
How was
both of them, didn't you? Both Horowitz and Iron Mike, right?
No, not Iron Mike.
No,
I think he passed away. He passed away.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh,
he passed away.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's been a while.
I was listening to Jim. I was listening to Jim Cornette earlier, and he was talking about Mike Sharp. Well, Hogan wrote a book and had Mike Sharp in it. And they were saying like one time he's like a big germaphobe because Mike Sharp, the same dude that had all that hair and all that shit.
Right.
They said he came in early, worked out in the ring, took a shower before his match, had a match, took another shower, did something else, came back and took another shower. The last shower took so long he got locked in the building, bro. Like they closed the whole arena. His ass was in there taking a shower.
That's crazy.
Like you'd have never thought this big greaseball looking fucker was a germaphobe. Because he didn't look like he had good hygiene. I ain't gonna lie to you.
He's rubbing up against other people for like 20 minutes at a time.
Yeah, but how much of a shower do you need, bro? Like
maybe I don't know. Maybe
how clean you
George Steele or something.
I tell my kids all the time because I pay water. You pay a water bill. Like if you can't clean your ass in 5 to 6 minutes, bro, I don't know what the fuck are you doing.
Standing under the hot water and enjoying how it feels because your muscles are hurting and you need hot water on them.
Look, at 19, 17, and 13, they ain't live long enough to stand in my shower for 10 minutes. Fuck work have you done? Fuck work have you done? You go to work, you don't pay a bill. You ain't gotta worry about shit. Don't even get me on that.
Look. Not to change the subject because this is entertaining, but we were talking about people like bouncing back and forth to other organizations like the Moondogs, for example. I said we the Moondogs, you the Moondogs. I saw something the other day, and I wonder if they're going to do this or not, and how much truth it has to it. But they're talking about Kamala again. Did you see anything about him? Maybe getting like I guess it would go to his family, but like a Legends kind of thing for him.
Yeah, I heard he actually did sign him to a Legend deal, so his family gets taken care of. So
they were talking about possible. Now,
cool,
is he in Hall of Fame already?
No,
I don't think so.
See, I wonder if they do that.
That ties into that discussion we were having earlier about.
Yeah, that's why. That's another reason why I brought it up. Another reason for that.
Some you was talking about factions, and you said Dangerous Alliance and the Paul Jones Army.
Yeah,
both. I remember both factions, but I will say the Dangerous Alliance because that whole alliance was nothing but Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Dangerous Alliance deserves to be in there for sure. I threw Paul Jones Army in because I'm thinking, here we are these days. People are like, "Oh, who can we put in there?" All the ones we want in there are in there, unless you go with somebody who's been out of the ring maybe the last 10 years. And I don't like that. I think you should be out of the ring way longer than that for you. There's so many people.
I don't know the way people dying. I think 10 years might be it.
I mean, there's so many people before them. It's like, well, let's just go ahead and bring the name up. They do it every during the year. Bray Wyatt. All right, there's a lot of people that should go in before Bray Wyatt gets in there.
I agree.
And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Bray Wyatt. I thought he was a good wrestler, good character. He deserves to be in there. But it hasn't been that long. I mean, you got other people who I don't even know if they ever put Ivan Koloff in or not. If they did, it was after he died or something, and it was in that little section where there's no speeches made. It says his name's announced as being put in, but that's it. So there may be something like that. Is Nikita Koloff in there?
No.
I mean,
Lex Luger's just getting in this year.
Yeah, and you mentioned Magnum TA earlier.
No,
he's not in.
So I
think he should be in.
Yeah. You got other people, especially that have been not in the Hall of Fame. If you're going with other organizations prior, I don't think Eddie Gilbert's in there. And Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert did a lot in wrestling.
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No,
nope.
No, he did a lot of things for it. Is Wildfire Tommy Rich in there?
I'm not. Wait a minute now.
He was big, and he was big in the Mid Atlantic in the NWA era.
There's a lot of people I can put before him. Every name you just named, I put before him.
But and that's fine. That's fine though. That's what I'm saying. But we're getting to the bottom. I don't want to say bottom of the barrel. I don't want to say that either. But we're getting to where all these big names that everybody would think of, are either in there or they just don't have a chance of getting in because of relations with them or something.
Well, it's like is the original Sheik in? I don't think so.
I would think so. I would think so.
No, I don't think so.
He's not in.
If he's not, he'd have to be in there at some point.
There's, wrestling is such a broad sport, from different areas, different states, and the span of wrestlers. I mean, there's a lot that you could. You could justify pretty much anybody. The way I look at it, like a Hall of Fame, like a baseball Hall of Fame, and
you can make an argument for anybody.
That's all a merit, based, but in wrestling, it's basically participation and impact, and it's hard, especially when you're only thinking of 5 people a year,
Now, is it only 5 people they're putting in this year? Only 5
now?
It's always only for the last few years. It's only been like 5 people, right?
Well, did you know that now that they've I just saw this on SmackDown last night. They're inducting Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, the I Quit match. They're inducting that match into the Hall of Fame.
And so here's
hold on, Ray, hold on. Before you say anything, Robbie, how do you look at that? What is that about, basically?
It's about highlight.
Why are you putting I'm not saying you can't do it before we go any further. I'm not saying you can't do it or anything. But you say what you can say, and I'm gonna tell you how it struck me when he first told me this. So how are you looking at it?
I think it's cool because it's like we all have our favorite matches, and to us those matches and moments are like, they're worthy of that Hall of Fame, like the I Quit match, Stone Cold expressed it how, that built his character, that was the starting launching point, from him turning from a bad guy to an anti-hero, and it also made Brett's turn. I mean, it impacted wrestling for like decades, even to this day, some might say. So I think there's matches like that, Hogan versus Andre, you know, um, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. There's matches that you can pick point and you can go, these matches are very special.
Well, let me ask you this: do you consider that rating a match, or do you consider that like, okay, everything, like you said, these special moments, these special matches, do you consider that like giving it a rating, or do you just saying, hey, this is a pivotal moment in wrestling history, no matter if you like this guy or that guy? We're not saying this. Yeah, we're not saying this.
Shane McMahon should go in for his dives.
We're not saying this match is better than, give this match a B, give that match an A. We're saying,
I don't even think of it like
everybody loves this match.
I don't even think of it like rating.
I can see it both ways. When he brought it up to me earlier, I was like, wow, okay, so now we're Hall of Fame ranking matches now. That's what we're doing. Okay. Because I'm thinking, weren't we just making weren't we just making fun of another place for having 5-star matches not too long ago? I somebody else was saying there was somebody out there in the wrestling world saying, oh, it's a 5-star match. This is a 4-star match.
Yeah, dude, I hear that every fucking day, dude. And I'm like, man,
but I think that's a subject. That's one person giving it a rating, which is different from everybody coming together collectively and saying, you know what, I remember that was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
You ain't gonna find nobody hating that match. You're not gonna find anybody saying, oh, that match was. We're not saying this match deserves a 5-star. This match deserves an A. This match deserves a B. We're saying, hey, this was a pivotal moment in history, and we're putting that moment in the Hall of Fame.
They might put when when Ric Flair won the Royal Rumble, and they might pick that.
They might put the actual promo. Yeah, if they do that, you're going to see that promo at the end.
That's the best promos ever.
I can definitely see it, but in both going both directions. When you first just hear about it, it's easy to take it both ways. And we get some comments in Facebook talking about it too as well. I see Ishmael saying, I done lost your comment. Where'd it go? That if you're basically signifying a moment, it's okay. But it just disappeared completely. Then somebody threw a couple of matches out. Joey DeWitt said Undertaker versus Mankind, Hell in a Cell, Brock versus Undertaker. The streak match. Those are things.
You can't debate those matches. We're not saying, oh, that match was better than this match. That match was better than that match. It's just, this is a match in history or in time that everybody remembers this match because of that moment. Like we remember that Bret Hart and Stone Cold match because of that when he had
it's like honoring the highlight reel, like one event at a time, kind of.
And we only remember that Hell in a Cell because they threw Mick off the Hell in a Cell.
Whatever happened to the Warrior Award? Do they still got that?
They got rid of that and his wife.
Might have brought some bad memories up for him. Who knows?
I think they should I think they should have that award though, because I do think it's people that deserve recognition behind the scenes.
People. It was supposed to be for people under the radar, especially like it was meant specifically. They kind of made it more like a wish thing, or like giving somebody this person the kid that had cancer and stuff. But it was meant to like honor the people behind the scenes.
Right. And I just thought of something. You know how they bring in the this moment or match moment or whatever for the Hall of Fame. Maybe they got rid of the Warrior Award, but they're gonna rebrand it and call it something else and bring it back and actually give it. It could be called the Gorilla Monsoon Award because the gorilla position. It can be called whatever. Name it after somebody. They might be bringing it back. I've been saying this since Triple H took over. WWE ain't going to, it seems like it changed overnight, but it ain't going to change overnight. Some of the stuff people are complaining about now just needs time to work out. And I'm not even talking about storylines. I'm just talking about the way things are done.
Yeah, they're getting
like people are complaining about WrestleMania prices. People are complaining about this and the way WrestleMania is built up. Like last year, or when Vince was doing it, and we got accustomed to it, we knew what WrestleMania matches were a month out sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, they're talking about trying to get WrestleMania in Nashville in a few years because of that new stadium being built.
Yeah.
They're talking about bringing that in here. And you know what? I'm still not going to pay for a ticket to go to it.
Well, I mean, but I mean, like this year, we're just now getting most of the matches named out. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's better. I think it's better this way because number one, it eliminates people. It eliminates people shitting on. You don't want to get, especially wrestling fans today. You don't want to give them a month and a half to shit on your card.
To stew on it
because they shit on everything. Number two, we're actually getting a build. It may not be the build you want, but we're getting a build. So by the time it gets real hot, it's WrestleMania time. You ready to see the match?
Yeah, that's a great buildup. You're right. I haven't even realized it, but I have noticed that there's more anticipation. Maybe we used to talk about that the first year we were friends because it was right. We hooked up right about time. It was we were doing a countdown to WrestleMania as one of our first projects, and and there was that we'd have those conversations about. Well, I'm not. It would get to a certain point where we'd be like, I'm not even really excited. I can't remember how many years we said that. I'm not even really excited. And then maybe the day before we get a little more jacked up.
Because by the time it got there, you were fatigued from just
anxiety, man.
It's like, okay, because again, we were sitting there talking about matches for a month.
Yeah.
Like, can we just watch the match already?
Yeah.
Like now you kind of think you know what match we're getting, and you don't know till you know. You're not for sure till you can guess and assume.
Well, let's bring up your boy, Chris, Jey Uso. Him winning that Royal Rumble. That was a beautiful. At the time I didn't like it, but because I was like it didn't make sense to me. But as it's played out, it's made a lot of sense, and I'm really interested in it.
Yeah. And there's no way they're not going to put that belt on him at this point. As many beatdowns as he's taken the past few weeks. The writing may as well be on the wall, unless they go against traditional wrestling stuff. Usually when the guy gets beat up so many times, leading into, that always happens. Do you think there's very much fan issue out there about the main event now? Because the main event's not going to be one of the title matches. It's the Roman Reigns, CM Punk,
and I gotta say I might be a traditionalist or whatever you call it. I think the main event should always be the title match, the world title match. That's just me.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are going to be,
and it will be
out about
it. Will be. I mean, let's face it. You can have 4 nights of WrestleMania. You can have a week of WrestleMania. The main event is the last match.
Please do not put that out there. We do not want a
WrestleMania.
Yeah. Gosh.
Maybe one of the title matches will be the main event one night, probably.
Right. Second night is going to be Cena and Rhodes.
So let's ask this question: who gets the other main event? Is it Cody Rhodes and Cena?
Should be.
That means Jey Uso. Jey Uso's name can't be main event Jey Uso no more. It's almost main event.
It'll be the second to the last. It'll be the first match or the second to last match. I really think it's going to be the triple threat being the main event.
Chris, you old school. I know you know this. Back in the day, you go to the matches and when they had intermission, the match before intermission was called a main event. It was called a main event.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
Okay. Another one for Mr. KS. There you go.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm gonna write it down.
Are you writing it down, Rob?
I got to
you keeping score? We keep
score
these days.
I'm gonna learn you
4 lines, and then I put the slash through them.
We keeping score. Maybe at these shows. Hey, maybe at these shows you went to, it was that way or something. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. Main event, like Rob said, was always the last match on the card.
I told you I was going to learn you something today. You learning. Take notes. Rob, you were a good student in school. Rob over there taking notes.
And you got to look at it. There's still that psychology. They're gonna.
There we go. Got it right here.
They're gonna put.
Let me write this down. Hold on.
Like they did. What was the WrestleMania 3? What was
you just made the list?
God damn it!
I'm sorry. Did I do that?
Well, in WrestleMania 3, what was the most exciting match?
Ricky Steamboat, Rob Macho Man.
Yeah, what was the match that got everyone there?
Hogan
and Andre.
Yeah, so dude, as long as with WrestleMania, yeah, being in the main events and being in this, there is a hierarchy. You're going to see that, in the way the matches are dealt out. But if you're on WrestleMania, fucking, you go out there and you steal the fucking show. You make it the main event. You make it the one they're talking about for 10 years.
But I don't know what this favor is. He's owed. What's his favor?
You didn't watch SmackDown last night?
I didn't. I got right to that end part, and then I stopped because my mom went to bed. So I'm gonna watch it when I get it. But you can tell me I don't care.
That triple threat match is being the main event. Heyman got that match to be the main event. He told Punk, "Your dream is coming true. You're going to main event WrestleMania."
Yeah, but then again, he goes, but then he tells him that's still not the favor you owe me. That's what he brought up at the end of it.
I didn't see that part.
You didn't see that part? Did you see Seth Rollins getting upset because now he's going to be in the main event of a WrestleMania? And
he said he wasn't going to allow it. He said he wasn't going to allow it.
Yeah.
So I don't. That's the best part about this, though. You don't know what's going to happen till it happens.
Right. And at the very end of the little thing, though, the signing, though, when he's telling you, you got Roman saying, acknowledge your tribal chief, and so he's being sarcastic when he's telling him all these things. And at the end of it, he stands up and he goes, "But that's not the favor that you owe me."
Right. Well, that changes the game right there. It changes it up a little more intrigue. But no doubt in my mind, Roman Reigns is walking out of WrestleMania with his hand raised. Prediction. Spoiler. I don't know.
If we do a prediction show, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
If we do a what?
If we do a prediction show, it's going to be interesting.
We definitely should.
Is there anything happening with WrestleMania with a certain Discord channel? Had you made your mind up on that yet? I'm putting you on the spot, man. On the spot.
Just like last week, when it gets ready, I will let everybody know. We're gonna do something. We're gonna try to do something, make it work. But that's what we got. What 30 days? I mean, what is it? 30 days to WrestleMania?
Well,
what is WrestleMania?
The 19th and the 20th, Easter Sunday.
That's WrestleMania. Why is WrestleMania on Easter?
Yeah, it's on Easter Sunday.
Why? Why are we doing
I don't know.
Ray's not gonna be able to watch now.
He's got to go do Easter eggs and shit.
Yeah.
My kids are.
Easter Sunday church.
I still get don't say nothing about my kids. I still get a fucking Easter basket.
Okay, so my kids are well into their teens. They ain't doing no damn Easter egg hunting. That's for fucking sure.
Okay, fair enough on that.
And my grandchild lives about an hour away. So
Rob says he gets the Easter basket. It's got Tide washing powders in it, some Dawn dishwashing detergent, some
dude wipes. I got a big thing of dude wipes. On that note,
he said, "Dude," and this is a damn shame. You said dude wipes. The first thing I thought of was when you first started doing this hobby of yours, and you were sending people shit pictures of shit in the toilet bowl.
Blame Thomas Austin for that. You got around him, and that made you even worse.
Charged.
And we wonder how you keep getting banned from Facebook.
Not my proudest moments.
Well, how many Facebook accounts do you have now?
How many do I have? I have 2.
No, I mean, how many have you made since I've known you?
Including people's fake ones.
When you have to look up to think about it, that's a lot.
I don't have a number, man.
At this point, when I look up and I see someone requesting friendship with me and I don't know the name, I just automatically assume it's you.
It's Rob.
It's probably
you try to see if you can see something in the name that reminds you of me.
I'm just saying. I mean, it's automatically it's you now.
We talk about WrestleMania tickets. We talked about Hall of Fame and all that stuff. What about somebody coming back to WWE.
There's always room.
Paige is she's out of AEW. She
I have
says
a question though.
wants to try to come back to WWE.
Is she gonna wrestle, or is she gonna stand around and talk?
That's what I'm saying. Well, the WWE doctors didn't clear her to wrestle. They told her she should stop wrestling.
Just saying. I mean, if she's just gonna come back to be a talking head, then I don't care to see her come back. What's the point?
See, I'm still at that age in my in life where, I don't care if she wrestles or not. If she's just gonna come around and stand up and wear, a top that lets her two friends bounce up and down, I can, I ain't paying her. So
what do you
she ain't on my payroll. So
there's plenty of them running around there bouncing up and down with wardrobe malfunctions every week, practically. I mean,
it's plenty. If plenty is good, more is better. Come on, if you will not get one thing, you will not hear me complain about.
Let me write that down too.
Please do not hit that button.
The button's over there. You just saw this and you assumed it was coming.
But no, I'm just saying.
Hold on. Well, I'm sorry. I gotta ask this. Did y'all? I think I sent it to you. But
what?
Robbie, did you see the thing with the little girl in the audience picking a fight with Chris Jericho out there?
Yeah.
Was that not the funniest thing you have ever seen? And she picks her shirt. He's showing her his abs, and she says, "You ain't got that, do you?" And she lifts her shirt up, but she just ripped better than he is.
She gave him the finger. Now this kid, she couldn't have been more than 9 or 10 years old, bro. Like,
and then told him what it meant.
That's bad. Exactly that is terrible.
Jericho's a true pro. I might have slapped her.
You see how wrestling fans raise their children. It's terrible.
I know, but then he looked like he was enjoying it. He was laughing.
Yeah,
and he was. And he going back, and then as they were walking off, what was it? Was it Big Bill with him? They was walking off. Oh, you burned her. You showed her. Yeah.
Dude, I can't take any man seriously wearing glittered heel boots, bro. I can't take you seriously. I can't take you seriously.
I love Jericho is one of my guilty pleasures.
You love him for all the wrong reasons, Rob. You love him because he makes
fans have started chanting, "Please retire" at him.
I've liked him since he was the Lionheart, man. I liked him ever since he was a nobody in WCW.
You ever seen that, like the like a action star like Schwarzenegger or Stallone or something like that? You remember them? They were every movie they were in, they were all jacked up. Fast forward 40 years later, you see them on the beach in a bathing suit and this big ass stomach is. That's Chris Jericho. That's Chris Jericho, bro.
But he's rock and roll, man. He's rock and roll never dies.
Rock and roller of Ayatollah.
Rock and roller. Yeah.
The rock and roll in him died 10 years ago, bro. He's as my son would say, he's washed.
Yeah, I get that, but I still appreciate the man. He's one of those we're blessed every time we see him.
Imagine how much more you'd appreciate him if he had retired 5 years ago and left you with nothing but good memories. You didn't have to see him with what's that wig, that red wig he had on?
I know that was on that cruise, wasn't it? The Jericho cruise.
Imagine if you had never seen that Chris Jericho.
We were like, when did the Wendy's girl go on the Jericho cruise?
Right. Imagine if the last Jericho you saw was WWE Jericho when he had the suit. If that was the last Jericho you saw, wouldn't your memories be a lot better?
I mean,
you were obviously really conflicted, right? I've never seen
at this point, it doesn't matter. Everybody, pretty much most of them outstayed their welcome. Ric Flair outstayed his welcome by 20 years, probably. Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee to this day will get in a ring somewhere in Tennessee.
Jerry Lawler almost died. If that's not a sign,
but he can't do much anymore. Neither can Bill Dundee. But them two and handsome Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Man. He finally hung up his boots. Finally.
Somebody had to hang him up. Somebody had to literally stop booking him for him to hang up his boots, bro.
He was getting booked just for the humor aspect of things, is what it was.
Right.
Everybody knew he couldn't wrestle. They knew that already.
Don't call me out there so you can laugh at me, bro. I'm not taking. I don't need your money that bad for you to show up so you can just laugh at me, bro.
7 or 8 years ago, I forget exactly what the date. Well, I can tell you what the date was. Hold on.
I am nobody's joke.
I went and saw Chad. You guys remember Chad?
Bartlett.
Chad Bartlett. I watched him
Yeah.
wrestle with School of Morton in Panama City, Florida.
Yeah.
And it was.
I got a White Claw. I got a White Claw Outlaw shirt right here.
Yeah, I got one somewhere. November 9th, 2019. Jimmy Valiant was there with him, and he was just the humor thing then at that time. And he just now this year finally said he can't do it no more.
He's got to be.
And he was old.
He looked old when I was 12.
He did.
Like grizzly. You look like a old fucking dirty old man, dude.
Look,
kind of like you look now, Chris.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But you looked worse.
He would come out there with Bugsy McGraw, and they'd be taking on Paul Jones' army. Mentioning Paul Jones again, fighting those guys.
Get the shit beat. I remember he'd always get the shit beat out of him.
He'd come out there and do that little
licking.
Out there running around the ring, clapping his hands like a wild hippie and kissing everybody in sight.
To me, he looked like the old guy outside of the liquor store in the neighborhood, bro.
Yeah, dude, like
he was the cool old guy.
Beard, it was the beard.
Yeah, he is like he knew all the songs, he knew all the he knew all the people, all the kids, he knew everybody. But he was just the old dude in the neighborhood. Like, dude, your time is come and gone. Go in the house, bro.
He don't look like an ass. He's like we were talking about guys that look like they just got they'd be at a bar like drinking. He looked like he definitely looked like Joe Schmo. Wild man.
Yeah. How old is that man? You say he just retired this year?
Jimmy Valiant?
Yeah.
He finally said he's hanging his boots up. Let's see. How old is he? Old is Jimmy Valiant. 82 years old.
God, why are we waiting to 82 to retire?
82.
You should have retired 20 years ago.
Man, you know how some people who are older, what they say, and they say that the second they slow down and stop doing stuff is when they die.
I get that, but I don't want to die in the wrestling ring either, bro. I don't want to be boogie woogieing and just drop. Like
Ishmael remembers Handsome Jimmy. He says Paul Jones cut his hair. That he did.
Was he ever really handsome?
Well, that was his name in his early years. Handsome Jimmy Valiant.
I know that. I'm just saying.
When he got around to you, he was the boogie woogie man. But back in the day, did you see him and Johnny Valiant as a tag team back in the day?
Yeah.
That's why they were
very early. I think he had just stopped. He had just went into a singles career when I first. So I saw some clips of him.
Yeah,
he looked like he was 70 then.
Well, they both looked pretty old to me then, but they were thinking they were still God's gift to women. There's luscious Johnny and handsome Jimmy.
Let's face it, some of those women look like they were 72.
They were looking for them gifts.
Yeah.
Not the moms, but the grandmas.
You ever seen this be on Instagram where you see these things and it shows you the age of people when they were how old they were when they were doing the TV show they're famous for?
Yeah, they're our age now.
No, like the age at the time they were shooting the show.
Like how they were now compared to then.
Yeah, and I'm like, they were that old? Damn.
Yeah,
I knew they were old, but some of them, like it was what TV show was this? Ed Asner. I forgot the name of the TV show. But when he was shooting it, he was like in his 40s, and dude looked like he was in his 60s.
Yeah, dude. Like same thing with Pat Morita and the Karate Kid, dude. He looked like a little old China guy, dude, and he was like actually like 42.
He looked 82.
Yeah,
he wasn't that much older than Ralph Macchio, was he? Only he was twice his age, I'm sure. But I mean, the point is,
but he looked three times his age.
Yeah, and Macchio looked like he was a third of his age.
Yeah,
it's funny in that speaking of that in that Karate Kid 3, the Thomas Ian Griffith that played Terry Silver was 1 year younger than Ralph Macchio, and he was playing a character who should have been at least 20 years older.
Yeah, at least 5 years older.
He looked 20 years older. That's what I'm saying. Fucking hard faces back then. God damn. No, we were talking about Paige, so we all. Me and Rob wouldn't mind seeing her come back.
No. I don't think she doesn't add much. I mean, actually, dude, I mean, like her, like seeing her in AEW, dude. Like she don't like don't match. She don't like
She don't do
ring
shit.
wise, dude. She don't have that much to offer, except for
Yeah.
that she's known.
The only thing I think would be cool is if she did what Trish Stratus did. She comes in for a brief few weeks or
Run.
something, disappears, and comes back another couple months later for a match or two. If you want to sign her for something like that, then fine. They can be easy matches for her to do. But if she's not clear to wrestle and she's just going to be a talking head, I don't see no point in it.
Yeah,
I honestly, I don't see her coming back to the main roster. I mean, I don't know. They got this Women's Evolution pay-per-view coming again, so I don't know. You heard about that?
No.
They got when is it? Sometime this summer. They're doing a pay-per-view for just all women. And she can be good for that. But I don't know.
Seen,
if she comes back now.
That women's referee had the first match.
She's in Evolve.
Under a mask.
Yep.
She's in Evolve. Oh, have y'all seen LFG?
Yeah.
Have you seen that chick? I don't want to call her ugly.
The Piper girl? The one that does the Great Khali thing on her head? Yeah.
Dude, that is an odd looking chick.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. She's kind of ethnic looking. But she has got big jowls. Like. She has like huge jowls.
Yeah. But she's like jacked. She's as tall as Undertaker. Because he was giving her, congratulations or whatever. She's almost as tall as he is.
I saw that video clip where he's like, look at that face. Boy, it's a mean looking face.
I wouldn't know what to.
That's why God invented doggy style, Ray.
I thought you were going to say it's why they invented grocery bags and light switches, but that's along on the same lines.
Who'd have thought I'd be the one that was, trying to be nice?
He told us to behave. I feel we've been well behaved tonight, Rob.
I think so.
Yeah.
Given the circumstances, I would say yes. You both have been on your extremely best behavior.
Thank you.
Except for when you hit that list button.
You just made the list.
God,
that's what happens when you talk about me. Do you need to be reminded again what happens when you talk about me? I'll do it again.
Can we just get him an updated Chris Jericho quote?
You just made the list.
There you go. Say it again. Come on.
I can see viewers leaving. I can see viewers leaving every time he hits that button.
We've had one viewer this whole time. It's been Ishmael. That's it. He's back here just going, what are these guys doing? What are these guys doing?
You're saying I'm on different. Who is that? Nick White?
Oh, you know what? I didn't see that a while. That just popped up on mine. Yeah.
Yo.
So it says, "What's up, boys?" Okay, two people. And the second one just popped up. So.
Two people are looking at your feed, sir. Know what you got going on over there, but anything else I want to get into? Because my class is coming to an end, and I've taught enough today. I hope Chris learned something.
We got to save something. We got to save something for his brain for next week.
I just learned that Robbie and I behaved well tonight. That's all I've learned, and that he still has the same Facebook account he had the last few weeks.
Yeah, dude, I'm on a roll.
And by Tuesday he'll be sending you another friend request. I'll get another message. I got.
Don't report me, Chris.
I don't do anything like that. No.
Who do people still report people now?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Haters.
I have not touched. Listen, I hadn't touched that. Well, what is it you call it again? E-Fed. I haven't touched that stuff in how many years now?
I mean, I don't know, man. I didn't know nothing about it. I didn't know nothing about it till I met the likes of you, and you put the needle in my arm.
Yeah, I get. You know what? It is your fault, Chris.
It's my fault. The two of you got involved. I am sorry. I apologize.
Yeah,
I don't know what I was thinking. We should have just stuck with the podcast and let that be it. Maybe I should be. Maybe I should be doing a wrestling podcast too if I hadn't bothered with that crap. Who knows?
I should have known Chris was leading me down the wrong path in life.
Yeah, I can't believe I had to let it stray.
I
had to deal with that shit for 10 years.
Don't ever trust a guy named. Don't ever trust a guy named Chris. I mean, Chris crossed applesauce. So I mean, what would he do to you?
Lord, On that note,
Love you guys.
Chris, you want to promote your other podcast?
Oh, who likes old movies? 80s, 90s, whatever, comedy, action, all
Old
kind of
movies
fun
are better.
stuff.
Old movies are better than new movies.
That's what we do. Retro Life for You, movies of the 80s and 90s. Where I guess we got about about 100 and 125, 26 episodes under our belt right now, I think. Ray's been on a few of them with us. Me and Travis Rollins do this unless he's not available for a weekend. And then I had to throw somebody else in there. But no, it's quite a fun thing. If you enjoy talking about the old movies and reminiscing on those, then look us up. We're on Spotify and iTunes and YouTube. So.
And Rob, do you want to lead people down the wrong road and invite them to an E-Fed and have their life just crushed and they live miserable lives?
I wrestling.
You know you do.
Yeah.
I wrestling what?
Let's look up iWrestling.
Where?
It's all over the world.
Oh God. See, we let the David Jones out of him.
We probably
we
wouldn't.
let the David.
If there was a jobber out there, we probably wouldn't let him in anyway.
Oh God. On that note, that is Robbie Cutthroat. That is Chris. I'm Mr. KS from FRW Wrestling Podcast. We out.